Hey everyone, Shanine here.
Your Google Home isn't set up yet. To get started, download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
I should use that, right? I think I'm going to use it. Hey everyone, Shanine here with a camera review. I guess I do these now, even though I only have one camera, and that's what the review is about. So this review is for the Sony ZV-E10, which is my primary camera, the only camera that I own right now, and it is the one that you're seeing me from right now. So that's why I don't have it in hand, because it's on a tripod right now videoing me. I've had this for 6 months and I decided to just make a video about what I've been using this camera for, what is the capabilities, the features, and also who is this camera for. So the first thing I want to touch on is the reason why I chose this camera. Before I purchased this camera, I was using a iPhone 11 to do my YouTube videos. Even though I was able to get great videos and great qualities out of the iPhone based on what I wanted to create, I realized that there were some limitation in just using a phone. So for me, it was the manage storage notification. In the middle of a shoot, I would get that notification that my phone storage is full and I need to manage my storage. There are some limitations with just using a phone to make videos or make content, and that's because our phone is our phone. We use it for everything: communication, social media, music, doing some research on YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube, but doing some research mostly on YouTube. I realized that the ZV-E10 is a camera that most beginner content creators go to. One, because you get great quality, you get 4K, and I'll go into more in-depth details of stuff that you do get with this camera. It's less than $1,000. You're not breaking the bank, and if you're not sure if it's something that you want to do long term, or you're just trying to dabble into video creation, it helps you to play on the safer side when getting a camera. You don't have to worry about getting just a camera body that costs $2,000, $3,000 and you haven't got a lens. But with this camera, I've got the lens, the kit lens that is, and the camera body for around $890. Let's step into some of the features and details of this camera. With this camera, you're able to record in 4K, which is very good, because you get a good quality, you get this clean, and you get this nice look for a very budget friendly camera. If you want to slow down your image to give it a certain feel or a certain look, or just get nice slow motion, you're only able to record 30 frames per second in 4K. You can record 30 frames per second, which allows you to slow down the image more, but that's in 1080 and not 4K. So the image quality just does go down if you try to record in a higher frames per second. But this limitation is not a deal breaker for me, because it helps me to learn how to use the camera. It helps me how to move with the camera and also have a steady hand. So if you want smoother and more pleasing image but in 4K with this camera, there are other stuff that you can do outside of having a higher frames per second and recording in 4K. For battery life, it's pretty decent. I recommend getting a couple more batteries. For me, I have 2 spare batteries, and if you're doing streaming, I recommend getting a dummy battery so you can have a battery source right into the power source, so it would constantly be charging the camera. For the my battery's dying, time to switch over. Funny enough, we were just talking about batteries and now my battery's dying, so I'll be back. I'm gonna switch the batteries and get back to it. This is how small the battery is. I'm back. The crop sensor for this camera is 1.5. So what that means is whatever the number on the lens says it is, just multiply that by 1.5 and you get the true focal length. So the kit lens is a 16 to 50 millimeters. That just means 16 being the widest in how much you can see, and 50 means how much you can zoom. But with an APS-C camera, you have to take in consideration the crop factor, which is 1.5. The widest is 16, multiplied by 1.5. The true widest length is 24. So it's not actually 16, but is times 1.5 because that's the crop factor of the Sony ZV-E10. If it was a full frame camera, which is not a crop factor, that means the 16 is just 16. And the 50mm, which is how much you can zoom, times 1.5 is 75. So that's how much you can zoom into. Vice versa, for a full frame, 50 is just 50. Just take into consideration that you have a APS-C camera and it has a crop factor, so you'll have to multiply by whatever crop factor it is. Also with the kit lens, it has a variable aperture and it starts at 4, so that just means the background blur is not the best. You do get some background blur, but it's not the best, it's not the deepest, but it's a good start. I believe the kit lens is a great place to start just for practice, and also it's at a great price. You're probably a beginner if you get a kit lens. I know a lot of persons here on YouTube will say never get a kit lens with a camera, but that's because they already know what they want. They already know what focal length work for them. I believe going for the kit lens for this camera, it's a good choice. Eventually you will move on from a kit lens, which I did. Right now I'm filming on a Sigma 18 to 50mm and at a f-stop at 2.8, so I get more blur and I'm a little bit better than what I was using, and I need more practicing at what focal length I use before even getting into prime lenses. Another thing when recording with your phone is that if you're using the back camera to film yourself, you may not know if it's recording or not, and trust me, that's very annoying to sit in there talking for 30 minutes just to know that it wasn't recording. With the ZV-E10, it comes with a flip out camera where you can flip out to see that it's recording. It has recording bar. Well, I have it on. You can turn these features off, but I have the red recording bar around it just to make sure I know that I'm recording. And also there's a light on when I'm recording. These features you can take it off, but I chose to keep them on. This camera is very good for vlogging as it's very small, it's very compact. You can take it out, you can put it on a selfie stick, and you can just go out and shoot. For me, I don't have like a camera bag. I should invest in one, but the bag that I carry my camera in is very easy to access my camera because of how small it is. In terms of the work that I've done with this camera, I've done a lot. I've done talking heads, I've done scenery videos, I've done photo shoots, I've done vlogging, and it's a very good camera, and I just want to share what my image looks like coming out of this camera. I know that it can be better. I want to get better with this camera before even upgrading to anything else. My intentions with this camera going forward is to do more cinematic videos and maybe short films and filmmaking projects. I know this is not a cinema camera or a filmmaker's camera. However, this is the camera that I have. This is my first purchase in a professional camera, and I am going to do the best that I can in order to get that type of image out of this camera. I hope I gave actual insights on what this camera can do and what you can possibly get out of this camera. Until next time, bye.